Hey everybody, Multi-Classic Gamer here on January 9th, 2021. It is 1:30 in the morning currently, and this is my Nintendo 64. As you can see, I got the clear version, which, yeah, you can actually see the inside of the console basically through the outside. And yes, I also have the expansion pack in case you're wondering. It was kind of necessary for my LP of DK64, obviously, earlier this year, or early last year. Can't believe it's already last year, geez. That year cannot be, it will never be too far enough behind us, basically, I guess is the point. Currently it's only 9 days behind us, but still, you get the idea. So for my Nintendo 64, I currently have 24 games, which again seems, similar to my Wii U collection, seems kind of small, but given how small the library of the console is, yeah, it's not really that bad of a collection, honestly. Nintendo 64 only really had a handful of amazing games on it anyways to begin with, but either way, basically, so for North America, we have a total of 296 N64 games, so 24 out of that is actually pretty, it's a decent fraction of the library, I suppose. And, so yeah, I grew up playing a handful of the games that are within this collection, and, but they're all my brother's N64. This is not the N64 I grew up on. Was not mine. It was my brother's. I got this one just a few years ago. I think like in 2016 or something like that. It was I think it's like Christmas of 2015 or 2016 or something like that. My mom got me it, and the first two games she got for me were Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. So I started off my collection with these two games, and yeah, let me just say Banjo-Kazooie is one of the best games on the console. I don't think it's exactly a hot take saying that. It really is one of the best games on the N64. Now, I know that this is something that me and Yoshi Fan 2012 will disagree on. I personally think Banjo-Kazooie is better than Banjo-Tooie, but only by about a hair or so, because Banjo-Tooie is still a fantastic game. And, but it's a little different than Banjo-Kazooie, which doesn't exactly make it worse, but I think for me, it's just the tone of the game just feels kind of off. And there are other issues too. Like I think the dialogue in the game is too repetitive. Like you have to go the exact same dialogue with Mumbo and Humba Wumba every single world you go through. Like to me, that's one of the biggest downfalls of the game. Honestly, you don't have a lot of that in Banjo-Kazooie, and plus Banjo-Kazooie is like shorter and simpler, which makes it more effective. Basically, I don't know. Plus it has the originality thing going for it too, so that's our reason. But yeah, either way, people highly regard Banjo-Kazooie as one of the best games on the N64, if not all time. So there's that. But I will say, I will agree on the fact that the N64, while it is a great system, while it has some great games, it is definitely not one of the best consoles of the generation. Obviously, the PS1 won the fifth generation by a long shot, and the N64 did not have a chance at all. And the biggest reason for that is Nintendo's decision to stick with cartridges in a, growingly CD-based market, basically, if to put it simply. It costed them a lot of third-party support, essentially, and I think actually, to be honest, like especially SquareSoft, that was the biggest blow I think to Nintendo is losing a Square, because if the Nintendo 64 had actually took discs, I personally think we probably would have had Super Mario RPG 2, and we also would have had the Final Fantasy games on the system too. So that alone was a major blow to the system, and instead, we got a certain other game that we'll be getting into later down the line, but let's continue on, shall we? Next up, we have A Bug's Life. So I have this on both the N64 and the PS1 version. I think they're the same game on both systems, but I could be wrong. But I played this on the PS1. It's actually a pretty decent game from what I played so far. A very decent, whatchamacallit? A decent licensed game, basically. Start building the pile down there because right now I have him for my face. I want to get rid of it. Okay, next up we have Conker's Bad Fur Day. I remember when I first did the Let's Play this game, I thought it was very rare. So it was like, not, pun not intended. But I thought this game was like hard to find, honestly, and it really isn't. I guess one more thing I want to say about Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie is I'm actually currently playing through Rare Replay on Xbox One, or well, specifically on my Series X, but you can play Xbox One games on it. And I'm actually currently playing through Banjo-Tooie as we speak. I played through Banjo-Kazooie to start off it, and then I did Banjo-Tooie. And then, after I finish Banjo-Tooie, I'm going to play through Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts for the first time. So I'll let you know how that goes once I get around to it. I've only got 2 more worlds left in Banjo-Tooie, so I'm getting close to that. But I will say, I'm kind of indifferent to the Xbox versions of the 2 games. I mean, they have their ups and downs, basically. I think they're basically neck and neck with the experience of playing them on the N64. Banjo-Kazooie is better because, like, you don't have to worry about dying. Like, dying has basically no consequence to it, like it does in the first game where you lose all your notes. But at the same time, the faster frame rate kind of comes with negative side effects, because the game was built with a slower frame rate in mind, so that slower frame rate works in the game's favor. But moving on, we have another rare classic so far. Like the first 5 games, and this is no coincidence. It's just, well, actually, it is a coincidence because they just happen to be alphabetically the games I own, but also because I guess rare games are the best, or among the best games on the system. So obviously, I picked those up first. Next up, we have Diddy Kong Racing. So, Rare put out an awesome game for the N64 pretty much every year that it was out. And next up, we have one of my favorites on the system, Donkey Kong 64. Most people don't really like DK64, especially compared to Banjo-Kazooie. But I played through this, like, to full completion long before I did so with Banjo-Kazooie. Well, not really long, but obviously, my first full 100% completion of this game was in the 2011 Let's Play, the original Let's Play I did of this game back in the day. And, Banjo-Kazooie, I ended up finishing, like, I think shortly after I finished this game. So, yeah, actually, no. But, needless to say, DK64 was the one I had the most experience with growing up, so therefore, it has that nostalgia factor going for it, which made me appreciate more than Banjo-Kazooie. But either way, I still think, even on its own, it's still a fantastic game. Next up, we have one I haven't played much of yet, Glover. But it's a very well-known third-party game, I think, on the N64, so a lot of people are familiar with that one, even if they never played it before. Now, next up, we have Hey You Pikachu, another one of those spin-off Pokemon games I happen to own instead of the mainline Pokemon games, but obviously there's no mainline Pokemon games on the N64 because they were strictly based on the handhelds for the first several generations. In fact, actually, well, it kind of still is the case, actually, sort of, considering the Switch. So Hey You Pikachu, I can't really play this actually yet because I don't have the microphone that you need in order to play the game, so right now it's just kind of sitting in my collection without being able to be played. Next up, we have Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. I first experienced this on the Wii Virtual Console for a short time. I have not completed it yet. I haven't even gone close to complete it yet, but it's definitely a pretty fun game from what I played so far. I used to consider myself a lot more of a Kirby player back in the day, but so I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't completed it yet. Okay, next up we have another one of the best games on the console. We have The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. I don't have Ocarina of Time yet, believe it or not. I got Majora's Mask first, but either way, Majora's Mask is regarded by many to be even better than Ocarina of Time. In fact, one of the best video games of all time. So it's definitely up there from what people have said, because I haven't played it myself yet. So I could do a blind Let's Play in the future. Who knows? We'll see. Next up, we have Mario Golf. So, not much to say on this. Haven't played it yet. It's probably just golf with Mario characters, though. I mean, what else could there possibly be about it? Next up, we have Hopper. No, Mario Kart 64, but it says someone wrote permanent marker Hopper. That's kind of funny. But either way, I'm really glad I have this now. I didn't have it before. And next up we have Mario Party 3. Mario Party. Sorry, because the artwork, it's got a 3. It's a lot more, it makes more sense when you actually look at the full artwork, like on the box and whatnot. But I always think that this is Mario Party 3 because Mario's hitting a block and number 3 happens to be in front, right by the title of the game, so I think it's Mario Party 3. But no, this is the original Mario Party, the one that Nintendo actually had a lawsuit over because people were like spinning the control stick so much that it hurt their thumbs or their palms. Yeah, kind of a dark time for Nintendo, that is. Next up, we have Mario Tennis. Mario Pennis. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, again, just like Mario Golf, haven't played it yet. Next up, we have. It's pretty obvious. I only picked this up just because I watched AVGN. Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, one of the worst games on the N64, and one of the worst games if not the worst game in the franchise. Okay, so because we didn't have Square, we basically got this game instead, Quest 64. And from what I've heard and from what I've seen from Pro Jared, this is one of the worst RPGs ever, and I think it's the only RPG on the entire system, not counting Zelda, obviously. So there's that. Next up we have Rayman 2: The Great Escape. I've heard great things about Rayman games, so I figured why not pick up one, especially since it's got, the fetching green cartridge. So why not? Okay, next up we have Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. I think this is my most recent pickup. So, yeah, I gotta pick up those Nickelodeon licensed games, why not? Next up we have another one of the best games on the N64s, an N64 classic, Star Fox 64. Yep, considered by many to be the best game in the entire franchise. Makes sense since it got a 3D remake on the 3DS as a launch title on there. Oh, and the pile just toppled down there. Oh well, I'll get it later. And next up, the game that everybody's shown on their N64, Super Mario 64. Why not? Gotta have in your collection, after all. If you're gonna own an N64, you gotta own that game. Oh boy, this is pretty awesome. Super Smash Bros., the original. And by having this, I actually officially have like every Super Smash Bros. Game that ever came out. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, another one of the infamous titles on here, Superman 64. Oh boy. It really is as bad as they say it is. Okay, here's an interesting one. This is the very first game in the Turok series, or Turok, however you pronounce it. Turok Dinosaur Hunter is the official name. And yeah, this is the first game in the entire franchise, and it's considered one of the best games on the N64. I heard it was I can't remember if it was either the first third-party game on the N64, or if it was just one of the best third-party titles on the N64, because, yeah, this is the system that it started on, and it's one of the high marks of the N64, I suppose, the original Turok game. But this is not one of the better games, and unfortunately this is Nintendo's doing, Yoshi's Story. So, my story with Yoshi's Story is that I did the Let's Play of the game back in 2018. I started in 2018, and then it took me until midway through last year to finally finish said Let's Play, and by the end of the game, I was sick of it. I honestly don't like it. It's one of those games that I can equivalently say I do not like, because I completed, well, not to full completion per se, because like you're supposed to get like 30 melons per level, but that's never going to happen to me, because I just have no interest in ever playing it again. I did Let's Play, so that's pretty much it for me. And that's also it for my N64 collection, because that's all I have. That's all 24 games in my collection. I am planning on getting the, really soon I'd like to get the N64 end labels, so I can actually see what games see the games as I pull them out. Because right now, the way I have it set up, I can only see like the end labels, or the end of the cartridge where the labels aren't. So basically I have no way of knowing what game I'm pulling out until I see the artwork. So I really need to get those N64 end labels. And it's even more important to me as a collector, because since I'm planning on getting eventually every N64 game, it'd be good to have those end labels. So that way it's a fun way of telling like which games, like as sort of like a checklist of sorts, what games I own and whatnot. So that'd be nice to have once I finally get it. And they're not even that expensive too. I think they're only like $20-$30 or so. I can't remember. But you get like the whole North American library when you get the N64 label stickers. So very much looking forward to getting that. And with that, folks, that's it for my N64 collection video. I don't really have much else to say. It's yeah, it was just a regular day at work today, or yesterday, obviously. I worked at 2 to 11. Today I'm working, I don't go to work until like 4 in the afternoon, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I don't have to, I don't have to get up early or anything. I can just sleep in, basically. I can stay up late and sleep in, so that's pretty awesome. So, I will talk to you folks later about other stuff. In the meantime, we got a few more video game collection videos left. We still got the Switch, the NES, 3DS, Game Boy Advance, PS. Yeah, I still got PS1 and PS. No, yeah, just PS1 because I have like one PS3 game. So and there's other two I'm probably forgetting. So we still got a few videos to go here. But I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Oh, there it is.